The night was thick with treachery, a heavy silence blanketing the palace grounds. King Mansa, a benevolent ruler loved by his people, lay asleep in his chambers, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. His reign had been marked by prosperity and peace, a golden era for the kingdom. His own brother Zulumu, driven by insatiable ambition, crept through the palace corridors, his heart a cold, dark stone. Zulumu had always felt overshadowed by Mansa's greatness, his own achievements paling in comparison. In his hand, he clutched a poisoned dagger, gleaming ominously in the moonlight filtering through the window. The dagger, a symbol of his treachery, was a tool to carve out his own destiny.
I've always envied my brother's power, the adoration in the eyes of our people. They see him as a savior, a beacon of hope, while I remain in the shadows.
Jealousy festered within him, growing like a cancer, consuming his every thought. Twisting his thoughts into knots of resentment, Zulumu's mind became a labyrinth of dark desires and twisted ambitions. He convinced himself that he, Zulumu, was the rightful heir, more deserving of the throne. The throne, a symbol of ultimate power, called to him like a siren song. And so, consumed by this self-made delusion, he resolved to seize what he believed was rightfully his, even if it meant fratricide. The weight of his decision bore down on him, but his resolve was unshakable. As Mansa slept, oblivious to the imminent threat, Zulumu plunged the dagger deep into his heart. The act was swift, a culmination of years of pent-up rage and jealousy. A choked gasp escaped the king's lips as he bolted upright, eyes wide with betrayal and shock. The pain was not just physical, but a deep, soul-crushing realization of his brother's treachery. He recognized his attacker, his own flesh and blood, and a look of profound sorrow washed over his face. The bond of brotherhood shattered in an instant, replaced by a chasm of betrayal. Then, with a final shuddering breath, King Mansa breathed his last. The kingdom he loved and protected left in the hands of a tyrant. The golden era ended with his last breath, plunging the kingdom into uncertainty. With Mansa's death, Zulumu wasted no time in claiming the throne. His ascent was swift, his ambition finally realized. He intimidated the court into silence, his menacing eyes daring anyone to challenge his legitimacy. The once vibrant court now stood in fearful silence, the air thick with tension. Fear, potent and paralyzing, gripped the kingdom. The people, once joyous and free, now lived under the shadow of Zulumu's tyranny. Their beloved king was dead, murdered by his own brother, and a new era of darkness had begun under the iron-fisted rule of King Zulumu. The palace, once a place of light and hope, now stood as a monument to Zulumu's ruthless ambition. King Zulumu's reign was a stark contrast to his brother's. Where once there was harmony and growth, now there was only discord and decay. Gone were the days of prosperity and justice. The vibrant markets that once bustled with life and trade now stood eerily silent, a ghostly reminder of better times. In their place, a suffocating blanket of fear and oppression settled upon the kingdom. The skies seemed to mirror the kingdom's plight, dark and foreboding, casting long shadows over the land. Zulumu, drunk on power and consumed by paranoia, saw enemies in every shadow, traitors in every corner. His once grand palace became a fortress of suspicion where trust was a rare commodity. He ruled with an iron fist, his every whim a decree no one dared to defy. The sound of his fist striking the table echoed through the halls, a chilling reminder of his absolute authority. Taxes, exorbitant and crippling, were levied on the already struggling populace. The weight of these taxes crushed the spirit of the people, leaving them in a state of perpetual despair. Farmers who once took pride in their overflowing harvests now watched in despair as their crops were seized, leaving their families to starve. The fertile lands that once promised abundance now lay barren and desolate. Merchants, once the lifeblood of the kingdom's bustling markets, saw their businesses crumble under Zulumu's oppressive regulations. The once thriving trade routes were now deserted, and the economy ground to a halt. The kingdom, once vibrant and prosperous, was slowly being bled dry. The land itself seemed to mourn, its once lush fields now barren and lifeless. Zulumu's cruelty extended beyond economic oppression. He sought to control the very thoughts of his subjects, creating an atmosphere of constant surveillance. He created a network of spies and informants, their eyes and ears spread throughout the kingdom, reporting any whispers of dissent. Trust among the people eroded, replaced by suspicion and fear. Those who dared to voice their discontent were swiftly silenced, imprisoned, or worse. The dungeons beneath the palace filled with the cries of the unjustly imprisoned. Fear became a constant companion, a chilling presence in the hearts of the people. The once tight-knit communities now lived in a state of perpetual anxiety, always looking over their shoulders. Yet even in the darkest of times, a flicker of hope remained. In secret gatherings, away from the prying eyes of Zulumu's spies, the people whispered of a brighter future. The memory of King Mansa's reign, though fading, still burned bright in the hearts of many. They remembered a time when the kingdom flourished under a just and compassionate ruler. They yearned for the days of peace and prosperity, for a leader who ruled with compassion and wisdom. The longing for a return to those golden days was a common thread that bound the people together. Their hope, though fragile, was kept alive by whispers of a prophecy, a legend whispered in hushed tones of a hero who would rise to challenge the tyrant king. This prophecy, passed down through generations, was a beacon of hope in their darkest hours. Amara, an elderly woman revered for her wisdom and kindness, became the keeper of the prophecy. She had served as a trusted advisor to King Mansa, her counsel sought after for its clarity and foresight. Now, in the face of Zulumu's tyranny, she became a beacon of hope, a symbol of resistance against the oppressive regime. Amara lived a simple life, residing in a small hut on the outskirts of the village, but her door was always open, a welcoming haven for those seeking solace and guidance. It was within these humble walls that Amara shared the prophecy, her voice a low murmur that ignited a spark of defiance in the hearts of those who listened.
A sun will rise, marked by the lion. He will be our guiding star, our champion against the darkness. He will rise from among us, wielding courage and righteousness, and challenge the tyrant's rule.
Her words, imbued with the weight of generations past, spread like wildfire, carried on the wind to the farthest reaches of the kingdom. They offered a glimmer of hope in the face of despair, a promise of liberation from Zulumu's cruel reign. And so the people clung to the prophecy, their belief in its truth growing stronger with each passing day. They whispered it in hushed tones, their voices filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The prophecy became their shield against despair, their battle cry against tyranny. Far from the watchful eyes of Zulumu's spies, in a remote village nestled among rolling hills, lived a young warrior named Jabari. This village, though small and seemingly insignificant, was a place of great importance, a sanctuary where traditions were preserved and the spirit of resistance quietly simmered. Known for his strength, agility, and unwavering sense of justice, Jabari was beloved by his people. His feats of bravery and skill were the stuff of legends, and the villagers often gathered to watch him train, their hearts swelling with pride and hope. He was a skilled hunter, providing sustenance for his village, and a fierce protector, always ready to defend his people from harm. His keen eyes and steady hands made him a formidable opponent, whether he was hunting game or standing guard against threats. Unbeknownst to Jabari, he bore the mark of the prophecy, a birthmark in the shape of a roaring lion etched upon his right shoulder. This mark, though hidden, was a symbol of a destiny that had been foretold long before his birth. It was a mark hidden from view, concealed beneath the animal skins he wore. The villagers, unaware of its significance, saw only a brave young man, not the hero he was destined to become. Yet, it was a powerful symbol, a testament to his destiny, a destiny he was yet to fully comprehend. The lion, a creature of strength and majesty, mirrored the qualities that Jabari himself possessed, though he had yet to realize the full extent of his potential. Jabari grew up hearing tales of King Mansa, his heart filled with admiration for the fallen king. These stories, passed down through generations, painted a picture of a just and noble ruler, a stark contrast to the tyrant Zulumu. He listened with growing anger as elders spoke of Zulumu's treachery, the suffering inflicted upon their people. The tales of oppression and cruelty fueled a fire within him, a burning desire to see justice restored. A fire ignited within him, a burning desire to right the wrongs, to restore justice to the land. He dreamed of a day when his people could live in peace, free from the shadow of Zulumu's tyranny. One evening, as the sun cast long shadows across the village, an elder named Obasi approached Jabari. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very earth knew that something momentous was about to occur. Obasi, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation, revealed the prophecy to the young warrior. His voice, though aged, carried the weight of generations, and Jabari listened with rapt attention. He spoke of the marked one, the hero destined to liberate their people. The prophecy, shrouded in mystery and ancient wisdom, spoke of a time when a great hero would rise to challenge the darkness. And then, with trembling hands, he revealed the mark on Jabari's shoulder. The sight of the lion-shaped birthmark confirmed what Obasi had long suspected, and a hush fell over the village as the weight of the revelation settled upon them.
I had always felt a calling, a sense of purpose that extended beyond the borders of our village. This feeling, once vague and undefined, now crystallized into a clear and undeniable truth.
Jabari stared at the mark, a sense of awe washing over him. The realization that he was the one spoken of in the prophecy was both humbling and empowering. Now, as he looked at the mark of the lion, the prophecy resonated deep within his soul. The weight of his destiny settled upon his shoulders, but with it came a sense of purpose and clarity. He knew in his heart that he was the one spoken of, the one destined to challenge Zulumu's tyranny. With newfound determination, he vowed to embrace his destiny, to become the hero his people needed.